Hello students, welcome today. Today we'll discuss regarding how to prepare a cash flow statement. I have taken one problem regarding cash flow statement which has been displayed in your screen. Please observe the question properly before we start with the solution. So now we will discuss that how this cash flow statement is to be prepared. So the very first thing which we will take is number one is cash flow from operating activities. What does cash flow from operating activities means? All those activities regarding inflow and outflow of cash which are related to operation of the business. So those items will be coming under the heading cash flow from operating activities. Now the very first thing which we can bring here is cash received from customers. Cash received from customers. Now regarding this cash received from customers, we will have to do a working. So I am writing as working note number 1. We'll have to show it in the working note. Write the sales for the period. Now sales for the year, as has been given in the statement of profit and loss, is rupees 2250. This amount is in rupees 1000. Remember, 2250.00. Now your debtors has to be also taken into consideration, opening debtors and closing debtors. Now opening debtors has to be added. Add opening debtors, which has been mentioned in the question, as on 30th June 2010. Now the opening debtors is rupees 112.50 less closing debtors is given in the question is 450. So total amount of cash receipts from customer is rupees, after making the adjustment, 1912.50. Now what are the other sources of cash flow from operating activities? Now there might be certain amount which has been paid to employees, or you can say to the suppliers. So you will write as cash paid to suppliers and employees. First we'll take the purchases which has been taken place for the year. So you will get this amount from the statement of profit and loss. So purchases is rupees 2205.00. Is it clear? So after the purchase, as we have done in case of cash received from customers, we have added opening debtors and we have deducted closing creditors. So similarly here also we will add opening creditors and we will deduct closing creditors. So add opening creditors, which you will be getting from the balance sheet, is rupees 315, and less closing creditors, which is rupees 877.50. So the amount comes to rupees 1642.50. So this is the amount of cash paid to suppliers. This is the amount paid to suppliers. You can write it as number A. Is it clear? Now next, in order to calculate the amount paid to employees and other administrative expenses, we will now consider. Now there is an administrative expense which has been given in the question, in the statement of profit and loss. Administrative expense is rupees 247.50. Clear? Plus, now here regarding administrative expenses, see here prepaid expenses is also given. Now remember, when there is a concept of prepaid expenses, what you need to do, you will have to add the closing prepaid expenses and you will have to deduct the opening prepaid expenses. Remember, so closing prepaid expenses is given in the balance sheet. Closing prepaid expenses, remember, only in case of prepaid it is the reverse case. We will add closing and we will deduct opening. So closing prepaid expenses is rupees 90 rupees 90.00, and opening prepaid expense we will get in the balance sheet. Opening prepaid expenses is rupees 45. So you can write this as cash paid for services. Administrative expenses means amount which has been incurred for payment of office and administrative expenses, means to the employees. So cash paid for services, you can say, you can write as number B. It comes to rupees 292.50. Clear? So now the total cash paid, how can you calculate? A plus B, that is 1642.50 plus 292.50. It comes to rupees 1935. Is it clear? So this is the amount which will be transferred to cash paid to suppliers and employees. So 1935.00. So as this is the amount which has been paid, so it will come within brackets. Okay, so the cash which is generated from operation, is rupees 22.50. So as because the negative figure is bigger, so this amount will be in bracket because it is negative. Clear? Now from the question it has been observed that there is also income tax paid. So there is also a calculation regarding income tax paid. So first we'll write down income tax paid. Clear? And for the same we will have to show a working note. So you can write as WN3. Now let us calculate that what is the amount of tax paid. Now what is the provision for taxes? The amount is shown in the statement of profit and loss. The amount of provision for taxes is rupees 90. Is it clear? Now what is the opening balance? Opening balance of tax which has not yet been paid. So opening balance of tax unpaid is rupees 22.50. Clear? So 112.50. Now closing, there is also closing balance of tax unpaid. Clear? So that is to be also deducted as you have done earlier. Add opening less closing. 67.50 is the amount of closing balance. So it comes to rupees 45 rupees. Now we will bring the amount here 45. This is also a payment. So the balance amount has to be written outside. So what you can write as here, net cash. Now net cash used in operation. Net cash used in operation. So the total will be, as because the amount has been paid, so we will write as used. So the total amount will be rupees 67.50, which will come in the outer column. Is that clear? Now let us go to the other part, that is number B, cash flow from investing activities. Cash flow from investing activities. Now, what does cash flow from investing activities mean? Now, cash flow from investing activities mean if there is any purchase of any fixed assets, or if there is investment made in any asset, or any purchase of any investments also, that will come under the heading cash flow from investing activities. Now here it has been mentioned that a new building was purchased on 15 June 2011, that is rupees 11 lakh 2500. So as because this amount is given in thousand, so we will write as, you can write as purchase of new building. Purchase of new building amount is rupees 1102.50. As because this amount is also paid, so this will also be in bracket. Is it clear? So there is no other items, so you can write as net cash used in investing activities. Net cash used in investing activities. You can write the amount directly outside, 1102.50. Is it clear? Now coming to the third activity, that is called as cash flow from financing activity. Now what does this mean? If any amount has been borrowed, or if any amount has been taken as loan, or you can say for issue of shares, or say for example for payment of dividend, means any activity which is relating to raising or payment of finance. It might be raising of loans, it might be raising of amount through equity shares or debentures, or payment of dividend, or payment of interest on debentures, etc. So this will all come under the heading cash flow from financing activities. Now in order to do this, just look into the liabilities portion. There is one amount of mortgage loan which was nil in the previous year opening, and in the closing it was rupees 900. So we can say that the amount of loan has been taken. So you can write as raising of mortgage loan. Raising of mortgage loan. So the amount is rupees 900. So as this amount is coming to you, so it will be in positive figure. Then your next amount is dividend paid. Now dividend paid, it has been mentioned in a statement of profit and loss that the amount of dividend paid is rupees 22.50. So this is the amount which has been paid. So the total amount 900 minus 22.50, so it comes to rupees 877.50 after calculating. Now this 877.50, will you write as net cash used? No, you will write as net cash provided by financing activities, because it is in positive figure. Net cash provided by financing activity. Is it clear? So this is the amount. Now, after making the total of this column, we'll have to make the total. This has to be deducted 67.50 as because this is in negative. So after making all the calculation, you will find rupees 292.50 is in negative after making addition and subtraction. Clear? So the amount has come to negative because the total of the negative figure is bigger than the positive figure. Clear? So this amount you will write as what? Net decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Net decrease in cash and cash equivalent. Clear? Now what we'll need to do, you have got the net decrease in cash and cash equivalents, rupees 292.50, which is in negative. Now what you need to do, whatever cash and cash equivalent is given at the opening, you will have to add this thing, cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning. Cash and cash equivalent at the beginning, whatever amount is given, you will have to add it. So it comes to rupees 450 as has been given in the question. Now what does cash and cash equivalent means? Cash, you know that the money, and cash and cash equivalent means amount which is kept in bank is also called as cash equivalent, or marketable securities are also called as cash equivalent. Clear? So after making the addition, you will get rupees 157.50. Now if you have done your entire cash flow statement properly and correctly, you will see that the amount of cash and cash equivalent which is given at the closing, amount cash and cash equivalent at the closing. Now this amount, you tally that this amount must be same. The cash and cash equivalent closing amount 157.50, this was given at the end. So if you have done the problem correctly, you will find that the total net decrease in cash and cash equivalent and plus adding cash and cash equivalent at the beginning, you will get the cash and cash equivalent at the closing, which is given in the question. Is that clear? So I hope you have understood regarding the problem of cash flow statement. Thank you.